We're going to be participating in a Socratic seminar about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. The inner circle is going to be role-playing one of the main characters, and you guys are going to have a deep discussion about the book based on questions that you guys will ask each other. I will start off asking you guys a starting question that will be open to any character to respond. Of course, if you are the same character as another person, you are allowed to add on to what someone else says as well, okay? So try to keep the conversation going. The outer circle is going to be for note-taking and observing things like, are there things that they could do better next time? Or questions that you might want to ask the inner circle. I will try to open it up at the end briefly to asking questions as well, okay? Any questions before we get started? Be confident, be clear. You guys know this story very well, so be confident in your questions. Yes?
Maybe ask questions to ourselves, as in to another character that is playing the same character as us.
Yeah, I would allow that. Yeah, that's a good question. Yes.
We're taking notes in the outer circle. Do we have to do all the notes?
You don't have to do all of them. This is just like what comes to your mind as you're listening. If you see things you want to jot down, you can. Yeah. Okay, very good. Remember again, a Socratic seminar is not to win an argument. The goal is to think deeply and to use text evidence as you're talking about the story. Okay? Yes, question?
When we're inside the outer circle, are we allowed to take notes on the back if we can't?
Yeah, of course.
If we want to.
Yeah, if you need extra space, you could write on the back as well. Very good. Okay, you guys ready? Take a deep breath. You guys are going to do wonderful. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's your first question. What do you think the wardrobe symbolizes in the story? And how does it connect to your character's journey?
I believe that the wardrobe almost is like a path to almost new beginnings in a way where it's just kind of like a fresh start almost. That's how I kind of see it.
I see it as where the characters, Lucy would go into the wardrobe and she would be in a whole different world where she could let her imagination run wild.
I feel like with Susan, it kind of showed, because she's a very logical thinker, it kind of showed that not everything can be easily explained, because when Lucy first said that she entered a wardrobe into a whole forest, she didn't believe, and she checked and she was like, it's not there. So it kind of symbolizes that not everything may be as it seems.
I kind of see it as not exactly heaven, but a glimpse into heaven. Isaiah had a vision of heaven, but he didn't actually go to heaven. He still came back to earth, and I think it might kind of be like that.
I agree with what Peter said, because when Lucy entered the wardrobe, it wasn't just like heaven, even though it may have looked like it was like a magical place, like with snow and all that. Then when she came back, I just didn't really believe her, because I thought she was dreaming of it, or she was just telling lies.
I have a question. If Aspen was a bunny or a bird, would you have still treated him with as much respect as you did?
Can you
Speak up a little bit, so say it a little bit.
If Aslan was a bunny or a bird, would you still have treated him with the same much respect as you did before?
I would have treated him the same, because I knew his power, and I knew that, and all the prophecies led up to it.
Yeah. I think that I probably, what Lucy said, I would probably treat him the same, even though he was that small animal, because just the tremble of his power was enough to make me respect him.
So, I kind of agree with everyone. I would have stayed the exact same way if he was a smaller animal, because if he was still treated the same as he did to all of us, I'm pretty sure. I didn't know him as well as Lucy did, so I would actually probably trust him more as a small animal than what he was.
I agree also because even though Aslan had a lot of power, when he came back into Narnia after a while, everyone in Narnia was like greeting him very well because of his power. And then also the White Witch was kind of like wanting to attack him because of how much power he had, and the White Witch wanted more power.
Near to the end of the world of Narnia, he actually appears as a lamb. So, but I still wonder if he were a smaller animal, would his power still shine through? Or would it even be bigger because it would not be contained by the body he was in?
I think that he would have the same amount of power even if he wasn't a lion because, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you're big or small. It matters about, like, the wisdom you have.
I agree with Susan. It doesn't really matter what size you are because you can still have, like, let's say if you're a bird, you can still have the size of the heart of a lion because you love, like, Jesus, and that's who you really come out to be.
I have a question. What do you guys think why do you think Narnia is so special?
I think Narnia, to me, I wouldn't say very special, but like I would say the only thing I got like drawn into Narnia because first of all, when you enter the wardrobe like Lucy did, she went into Narnia. So then when all of us went in, we all almost like scattered off, but then I wanted to be with the White Witch because she first came to me and then she kind of drawed me into Turkish Delight to be with her.
I feel like the reason Narnia feels so magical and special is because of the impact it has and the lessons each character learns because of it. And it kind of, like Edmund said, draws everyone in a certain way. It draws Lucy in with her love to explore and then meeting Mr. Tumnus. And it draws Edmund in with the White Witch and the Turkish Delight, and Peter and Susan with wanting to prove that there was nothing there and trying to hide from the blame with Mrs. Macready. So it kind of has a different lesson and different reason for each of them, and that's part of the magic of Narnia. It helps each of the characters grow and learn something.
I agree with Susan because I think what makes it so magical is that there were only 4 humans at the time, like us, who went into Narnia, and it was so special because we got to see like all the things that kind of how animals think in a way, because I think sometimes, even this relates to real life, you just want to know, personally I like to know like what it feels like from a different perspective, and I think we really got to learn a little bit more about that when we went into Narnia.
So I agree with Lucy, but it's really a happy place kind of for all of us that went in, especially Lucy, because it's not like the usual world where stuff is messed up. There's stuff that is messed up, but they do fix it. And in the real world, you can't fix everything. So I feel like everyone got to experience something that people don't usually get to experience. So it really made an impact on mostly all of us.
So talking about kind of experiences and learning something, What did you learn about yourself in Narnia?
I think that I learned that I was like really adventurous because I stood up for Lucy and Susan and Edmund because I didn't want them getting hurt because they were my siblings. So I learned that I was really passionate about my siblings.
I agree with Peter because you, like with your siblings, even if they're being harsh on you or anything, they're still your family, and you still love them like Jesus loves us. Like whenever we sin, like we still sin today, but like he still loves us because we're his child. And a question that I have for anybody that wants to answer is, if you could go back and change one thing you did in Narnia, what would it be, and how might it have changed the outcome of the story?
So
I think that I would just not go with the White Witch. I think I just would say that I wasn't. If I got to change that something in Narnia, I would just not go with the White Witch, and I would say I would just not communicate with her or eat the Turkish delight or really do any of that stuff. And it would probably set me on a better path than I did.
I think that was also partly my fault, and I would not have treated Edmund so horribly. I probably should have tried to comfort him instead of draw him towards the White Witch more.
So
would have tried to be a little bit more forgiving when Peter and Edmund were mean to me at the beginning of the story when they said that Narnia wasn't real, and I showed them that it was. I would have tried to be a little bit more forgiving of that. So
To feed into that, I have a question for Peter. Did you ever think I was telling the truth about Narnia but didn't admit it because you didn't want to believe something weird?
I think I probably didn't want to believe something weird because it's kind of impossible for that to happen, like a winter wonderland inside a wardrobe, and like it's kind of crazy, and I mean, like Lucy's a little girl and she has this big imagination, and I felt like maybe it was a dream or something.
So some people have talked already and some people have not. If you haven't had a chance to give input yet, we would like to hear from you as well. Okay.
I have a question. What were your first thoughts and feelings about meeting Aslan?
My first thoughts was like, wow, like, what if he's gonna like eat me or like hurt me or something? But then when I really like found out who he truly was, I was devastated when I thought he died. But then he resurrected just like Jesus did for us. So yeah, I got to know his true personality.
I agree with Susan because Jesus did resurrect like Aslan did, but also for like when like we meted Aslan, it's kind of the same thing that Susan also said. Like I thought that he was gonna eat me, but then while I was still like with the White Witch, then Aslan, even though he could have just hated me because of how bad the White Witch was and he knew, he still like wanted to come and try to save me, and he wanted to risk his life just for all of us because of how much he loved us.
I have a question. What advice would you give someone that is visiting Narnia for the first time?
So I would say you should really, even if you don't believe it and you don't think it's true, you really should, and you should really go and see mostly everything, because I think everyone could agree that it's pretty magical there, and it's a whole different world you would never think of.
I've got to agree with you, and I also have a question. But like, this is a question for anybody to answer. But what do you think that your greatest strength of the group,
All right,
as
this
part
question,
of the group, is?
Yeah, finish your question. This question is for those students who haven't spoken yet only. Okay, all right, go ahead and ask your question.
Wait, can you say that again, please?
What do you think is your greatest strength as part of the group?
I think like taking care of my siblings and like trying to be braver because when I was at home I was mostly taking care of my siblings and I was like trying to like help Lucy and I became braver when I was in Narnia and when I met Aslan.
I have a question. How did you feel like during the bombing at the start of the book?
I felt honestly like almost like kind of wanted to stay, but yet looking at my family and seeing like how almost like emotional this is, then I kept trying to fight back because I didn't want to leave. And then once we went onto the train to go somewhere else away from our mom, then it kind of hit me almost because it was like you don't want to stay away from your family because that's who you're from.
I agree with Edmund, but I feel like once we got into Narnia, it was I was scared at first, as most people would probably be, but once we got into Narnia, I had this sense of safety after we met Aslan, and I felt like it couldn't reach me because he was there. And I have a question for Susan or Lucy. If the other hadn't gone with you to follow Aslan, would you still have gone?
I would have definitely have gone still, because I would be worried for Aslan, because we had seen him and been with him, and he felt very protected of us, so I would have gone either way. Even if I did do that, I would probably wake up Lucy, if that even happened.
I do agree with Susan. I probably would have gone myself if it had to have come to that, because he felt like my protection, and if he was gone, I didn't really know what was going to happen after that, if something would have happened to my siblings.
All right, I'm going to stop it right here. You guys did an excellent job. Let's give them a hand. Nice job. All right, great discussion. I would like to open it up for just a couple of minutes for any questions from the outer circle that they would like to ask the inner circle. Inner circle, you're still answering those questions in character, okay? All right, Ben, what is your question?
I wanted to add on to the first question.
Okay.
I think the wardrobe kind of symbolized God's opened the door to worship Him and have like a second chance.
Good.
Sin.
Excellent. So kind of like a heaven experience almost?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Or like a redemption place. Good. All right, Emma, what would you like to ask?
Question directly to me?
Yes, you can ask it, yeah.
Lucy, what made you want to tell your siblings about Narnia?
Because it was just such a great opportunity for us, and it would be great to just go and into a place.
Okay, all right, Ariana.
Why do you guys think Aslan still fought fighting back even when Edmund did the wrong thing?
Because he's very godlike. We all sin, and he still is for us, and he doesn't do anything. And I feel like Edmund said sorry to him, and he definitely forgave him. I think he would have even fought if he didn't.
Okay.
I agree with Susan on Lucy's question. Aslan is very godlike, so he's like perfect, you know. and he forgave Edmund even after what he did after falling in the White Witch.
Very good. Okay, we're going to stop right here. All right, remember, leave the stuff inside your desk. Take what's only on top of your desk, and we'll switch. You can borrow one of those over here. It was Peter. Oh, no, it was Edmund. It was Edmund. Yeah. It was Edmund.
He said it was optional to write stuff on the paper and turn the story. He said it was optional. So that's still going to be
Okay. All right, so you should have Inner Circle, you should have your planning sheets on your desk. If you also want to have your notes that you took as well, you can have those as well, okay? All right, so same rules as before. You guys did an excellent job. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with the same question that I started off with the other group. Of course, you can give your own answers to your perspective to it, okay? All right, so Inner Circle. What do you think the wardrobe symbolizes in the story, and how does it connect to your character's journey?
I think the wardrobe symbolizes like a new world, kind of like heaven, like a place that is different and almost perfect, and better than the real world that has so many problems that need to be fixed.
I agree with Susan. Yeah, and I think it's like another world that's almost like perfect until the witch came in, like Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden.
I agree. It's like a new dimension with like a bunch of new like stuff, like not like the earth, like the world, but like different.
I agree with Edmund because it's a new world and it's way like better and it's just like a new dimension, I guess. Yeah, and everything there is perfect, and even if you do a mistake, you still have like somebody with you, which is awesome.
Yeah, I love how you said that, and I actually see the wardrobe as like the gateway to heaven, because like if you relate back to Narnia, it's like when you enter the wardrobe, it's when you enter Narnia. So like you can't go to Narnia without the wardrobe. It just wouldn't be possible.
I agree with Lucy. When Lucy entered the wardrobe, nobody else believed her. But then when the professor talked to them, they found out that who lies and who tells the truth most of the time. And Lucy tells the truth, and Edmund usually lies and tries to be selfish. And his selfishness caused the White Witch to gain knowledge of where Aslan and all the kids were at.
I agree with like all of you, because you're all making like a very good point of what the wardrobe is, and I see it as like heaven kind of. In the White Witch, I kind of see her as like Satan trying to like destroy everything that God has given us. And like Ben said, that's just like a great point, because we're selfish and sometimes we sin. It's normal to sin. Everybody sins. But God comes in and he makes that way for us. And yes, we just need to believe in him and trust in him.
I have a question for you guys. When Aslan left, how did you feel?
I felt very sad because like I knew that he would probably never come back, but then when I saw that he came back, then like I saw that like he was like Jesus and he resurrected for us and he tried so hard and he did all of those things.
I agree with what Lucy said, that it really symbolizes Jesus' resurrection from the dead, and I felt very like affected in a bad way because he really sacrificed himself for one person that did so wrong. Again, symbolizes how Jesus died for all of us that sinned so much.
I would like to relate to how Aslan is like Jesus, because he knew he was gonna come back because he had done nothing wrong.
I have a question. If you could talk to Aslan right now, what would you say to him?
I would say that maybe we could have another adventure and another chapter.
I would say thank you to him for like saving and stuff.
I think that's a good question.
Yeah, I would just say thank you.
I have a question for Edmund. What went through your mind as the White Witch persuaded you to work for her?
Well, I knew that it was bad, but there was like a prize for it, so I wanted to like trade my siblings for the prize, and I was being greedy.
Yeah, I have a question for anyone can answer. When we were crowned kings and queens of Narnia, were you happy to live in Narnia, or did you miss the real world?
I was happy because I knew that this was a better place for me to be in, and it was better to live in a good world that God wants you to live in instead of like a world with sin. But at the same time, I also missed the other world, the real world, basically, because I knew that my friends were there, and that it was also hard to choose between those two.
I have a question for Lucy. When Aslan was sacrificed, did you ever think about giving him the corridor?
It definitely went through my mind, but he was gone and I knew it, and I just didn't even think it would be possible, so I didn't even try.
Yeah, I have something to add on to that. So I agree with Lucy because it was. Wait, what was the question again?
My question was when Aslan was sacrificed,
Yeah.
did you ever think about using the corridor?
Well, yeah, I did, but also, guess it wasn't right.
What is the most difficult decision you've ever had to make in Narnia, Peter?
I think that my most difficult decision was to leave, just trust Lucy, and even if it was kind of silly that there's a special world in the wardrobe, and I went anyway because she was my sister, and she would always tell the truth. So
I have something to add on to that. There were many hard questions in Narnia and many hard decisions to make. And one of my hardest that I felt was forgiving Edmund after everything happened. And I think I'm really glad that we all forgave Edmund, because it's like how Jesus forgives us after we sin. And I'm really glad we gave him a second chance.
I have a question for Edmund. Do you feel like Narnia made you a better person in the real world?
Yeah, I definitely think so, because it made me realize that I was greedy and bad, but it helped me become a better person.
Why do you think the White Witch chose winter to symbolize her time?
I think the White Witch chose winter because winter is a very cold time, and when you feel cold, you feel bitter in a way, and you feel this weird feeling that doesn't feel very great unless you're bundled up properly.
Yeah. I would like to also add on to that, but I remember in the book it said that she made it so that it'd always be winter but no Christmas. So it could have also been more of a tease almost.
Yes, I agree with that. No Christmas, just I feel like it brings no joy, and winter, just the cold, it feels like no joy either. So I think she chose that to bring no joy to any of the animals.
I have a question for anyone. Why do you think Narnia is so special?
Because Narnia is a land that's made up, and nobody could ever find it but us.
I think that Narnia is really special because it's just so unique and you can't really find anything else like it. And I was just so happy when I discovered it and I got to bring all my siblings there with me.
I agree because it's like just like a world for you and your siblings.
Yeah, because I agree with Edmund, and basically it's like a second Earth because we can't live on really any other planet.
I think it kind of symbolizes like, kind of how like some people when they're sad or mad or just don't feel the best, they kind of have a place to escape and just have fun or.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like you always dream of like having your own world and like making up your own world, like Susan's world. And when we went to Narnia, I really felt like it was really that type of world, like where you could just achieve anything and try new things.
Lucy, what made you think to go deeper into the wardrobe?
Because like I felt like something, like I thought to my mind that maybe there was something interesting to like investigate or something, because like I felt like something poking when I was going through, and like I feel like it would have been cool to go further and see where it was.
Yeah, it was almost like getting colder by the minute when I stepped in the wardrobe. So I got a little curious and I kept going back and I finally discovered Narnia.
I have a question. When you got your present, what do you think you would have used it for?
I would have used it to, well, the very reason I used it in the first place, to defend Narnia and to beat the White Witch, to have Narnia restored again to its original.
I would have used mine, the drop thingy, like the potion, I guess, the healing. Yeah, whatever. That. I think I did the right choice to use it on Edmund because he really needed it, and I feel bad for him even though he did the wrong thing.
I would have used mine because to protect my siblings and anyone that hurts my siblings. So, yeah.
Anyone who hasn't responded yet, you can go ahead and give a comment to that question too. That's a good question.
I have a question.
Did anybody not respond yet?
No, everyone has responded.
Yeah, I have a question for Edmund. Why did you betray us and lie to us when you knew about Narnia?
I betrayed you because like I wanted to become prince and I wanted to show you that I was better than you.
So how did you? So you felt you were selfish.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel when we had to leave our mother and just the fact that we were going to a completely different home, completely different people?
I felt like I didn't want to leave my mother. I've been with her my whole life, and but I knew I was going to be with my siblings, and I knew I was going to be safe where I was going to go.
I felt sad because, I felt sad because I'm like the youngest, and I just always needed a mom.
I felt sorry.
And like at least Susan, thank you, because like she took care of us like a mom. So at least I had an older sister.
I felt very sad and also determined because I had to be like the new mother of my siblings, and I had to take care of them as if they were like my own children.
I have a question for Susan. Susan. How did you feel when you were becoming a mom, and how did you feel like were you like nervous about it or something?
I mean, you might need to word that question differently, but it felt like I had a lot of pressure on me because I didn't want my siblings to come one way into the professor's home and come out maybe worse or more rowdy than they were before.
I have a question for anyone. What did you feel when the battle started?
I felt like, but not nervous because I knew I had a weapon, but I was scared that I might lose my life fighting for Narnia, and maybe like I was just wanting to go back home to my mom and being here like safe.
I have a question relating to that question. This is for Peter. How did you find the courage to fight against the White Witch's army?
I found the courage because I was one of the oldest, and I just felt like I had a chance at saving my siblings.
Do you guys ever think that you could withstand the job of Aslan, fighting for everyone, even though they didn't really do anything for you?
No, because Aslan is all powerful and nobody could be like him. He's perfect and he will. Nobody will ever just have the same love as him, and he will always stay by your side because he is all knowing and all powerful.
I don't think I would ever be able to take the power of Aslan because he symbolizes Jesus in the Bible, and Jesus is perfect. Jesus has done no wrong, and he has an everlasting love for us, and something we could never do.
I love what Susan said about that. And I feel like the best we could do is we could try and resemble Jesus and be an example to others. Instead of trying to be perfect just like him, we can resemble to be more like him, but we're never going to be perfect just like him, but we can try to resemble him to others.
Yes, I agree with everyone, and I think even if I tried, I would never be as perfect as Aslan. Everyone makes mistakes, but I know that I should resemble Aslan and try my best to be exactly like him.
I have something to add on. So I like everybody's answer about that, but so what if Aslan didn't forgive Edmund? What if he didn't forgive Edmund? Then what would you guys think?
I would find a way. I would at least have somebody go with me from his army if they can. They might say no to betray him, but if not, I would just tell one of my siblings to go with me, or all of them, to come save our brother because he might have done something wrong. Yeah. That doesn't mean he can't be forgiven.
If Aslan didn't forgive him and anything, would you sacrifice your life for him?
Yes, because he is my younger brother and I want him to have a better life than being locked up in the White Witch's jail, and to know that we all loved him so much that we sacrificed ourselves for him to grow and have
I have a question for Edmund. Why do you like Turkish Delight?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was it was like a potion that the witch made for I could just keep on eating it for I could go back to her.
Why do you like
she
it?
could trap me.
I have a question for
Alright,
Peter.
we're going to stop right here. Let's give them a hand. Nice job. Okay. Outer circle, do you have questions for the inner circle? We'll take a few questions that you guys would like to ask. All right, Alexandra, go ahead and ask your question.
What was your favorite part of Narnia, and did it help you or someone else grow?
My favorite part of Narnia was that I could bring my siblings in the wardrobe because it was just a new world to explore, and I felt like that the more people, the merrier, basically, because I wanted to take my siblings with me and show them that I found something new and incredible.
Riley.
So this doesn't mention a lot in the book. It's for anybody. It only shows up for a little bit of a second. But do you think your father's death came into when you left your mother to go to a different land?
I think it really also affected me a lot because I felt, when my dad was dead, I felt very sad and distant from him. And without my mom, I felt even more distant from both. I felt alone without any parents to guide me.
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure that he was just at war, but it's still pretty hard because, then you gotta think, maybe he is alive, maybe he isn't, but then he's going through more than you can imagine.
Kayla?
This is for Susan and Lucy. In the
going to happen to Narnia and Narnia's future?
Well, I was definitely crushed because I grew very close with Aslan, and I was also just scared because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I didn't know, like, why he died, and, like, who was going to take over Narnia, and it was just a lot. It was just so much.
All right, we have to stop right here. Let's give them a hand, though. You guys did a great job. Give everybody a hand. You guys did wonderful. Nice job. I was so proud of you guys. Thank you.